Good morning. Thank you to everyone for joining today's webinar, and I am Penelope Bridger. I have recently joined Bytes as the Red Hat specialist, and I have come here because I thought it was a good opportunity for Bytes to become an advanced business partner with cloud specialization, and that's to support the growing demand that we already see from our customers, especially the growing demand we see for Red Hat in Azure and AWS. This webinar is going to be part of our Go Big with Red Hat and Azure campaign, and you can expect to see more in the following months on the Red Hat Linux operating system, containerization including OpenShift Container Platform, and more on the cloud management tools. I'll now be passing over to Neil Evans from Red Hat, who will be taking you through the Red Hat view of the way IT is changing, the challenges it's bringing with it, and the features and benefits of Red Hat CloudForms, which addresses these new challenges. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. So I'm Neil Evans. I'm a cloud specialist from Red Hat, and I've been invited along by Pen from Bytes to talk about the cloud journey that Red Hat is seeing. Just so everybody knows, I normally do these sort of sessions in an open forum where it's very, very interactive. So please do feel free to post questions in the boxes as we go along, and Pen will read them out to me just in case there's anything which should be addressed immediately. So I think we're going to have to click on there, Amy. Thank you. So what we're going to be covering this morning, Pen's already gone through, but Red Hat changing face of IT, features and benefits of CloudForms, IT challenges in hybrid cloud, what we're doing with Microsoft and specifically Microsoft Azure, and then we'll go on to next steps at the tail end of it. So I tend to call this building a modern open source data center because although we're seeing this big journey into cloud today, one of the things I talk about is actually that we are just doing a sort of a paradigm shift in how IT is delivered into the marketplace. The reason being, we're seeing that people's work life is changing. Everybody's wanting to be constantly connected. We're seeing this work life, home life blur, and we're seeing a lot of disruptive technology being brought into the industry as well today. We've seen the likes of Snapchat, Facebook, Airbnb, and Uber make a lot of changes to the way in which people can actually acquire services online, and this of course is going out into the way to which people are doing their as a service type deliveries into IT environments as well. So the changing face of IT, very, very quickly, we're looking at an environment where data center consolidation, server and storage consolidation are driving a whole raft of changes. Additionally, through this consolidation, people are starting to address what they're doing with the public cloud. They're looking at how they can bring public cloud type solutions into their private cloud environments as well, or in their on-premise data center. And additionally, how you can actually have a end-to-end environment providing hybrid cloud. Now, the chief sort of challenges people are seeing around that is management and orchestration, and it takes us on this real story about infrastructure consolidation, virtualization, and cloud computing. Now, the big question, of course, is how do we get there? How do you navigate through the infrastructure change? Who do you work with? As it says on the bullet points, can all technology partners guide you through the transition? That's a very big question. Can you build it, do it yourself? Can you go your own way? Again, a very big question. Is your environment going to be secure and efficient? Is it performance optimized for the environments and platforms that you're using? And the big question that a lot of people say to me when I'm normally presenting is, how do we embrace the cloud, or should we embrace the cloud? Why? This questions are going to ask, how do you secure cloud data? If you're going to the public cloud, you've got a lot of concerns out there. There's data privacy, there's data loss, there's external threats, not to mention internal threats as well. How secure is your data? Data remnants is a very, very big question. If you are in the public cloud and you're deleting something, are you sure that it's permanently erased? Is it going to be available to anybody else? This is a big, big question mark, which a lot of people have got to think about when looking for a decent cloud partner. And Finally, and probably most importantly, depending upon the industry you're in, when it comes to regulatory compliance, how does data sovereignty affect where your data is held? Certain industries have restrictions on where the data can be held. Different countries across Europe have restrictions on where the data can go to as well. So again, it's something which we've got to be very, very aware of. So let's look at the three options that are open to us these days. We've got the public cloud, we've got the private cloud, and then the all-encompassing hybrid cloud. Most organizations that I talk to these days are very much looking towards a hybrid type solution, although many customers as well, when they're talking public cloud, are looking at a multi-cloud environment where they're using more than one cloud provider. So let's have a look at the journey that Red Hat talk about. It all starts very, very simply with virtualization, existing virtualization, and an investment which many, many organizations have already made. We don't believe in doing a rip and replace. We talk very much about how we can enhance your environment and ensure that you get a great return on your existing investment as well as all your new investment. So for example, if you're a big VMware customer, we're very, very happy to work with you within your infrastructure and help you deliver the type of solutions that you need. Now, when we're going through this journey into the cloud, the first thing we've obviously got to look at is cloud systems management. I'd like to talk about holistic management platforms because I think that better addresses what we're talking about, but we'll call it cloud systems management to start with. Now, anything around systems management has got to look at things like provisioning, managing licenses, or as Red Hat would refer to them as subscription, and also looking at configuration management. Now, the benefits we see, of course, is that if you've got higher server to admin ratios, you're better off. You've got decreased human error. You can reduce the levels of complexity and take a better control of your security in your environment, and but at the same time become much faster in how you're actually delivering solutions within to your environment. And with the net benefit of increased manageability as well, making your data center more under your control and able to go in the direction that your business is wishing it to go. When we start looking at this in a slightly smarter way, if we want to have repeatable deployments, etc., we've got to look at some sort of smart management solution which also includes automation. Now, whether you have an automation solution which is built into an existing environment is okay, but more and more customers these days are looking at something which gives them the ability to automate across a wide plethora of systems, whether it be around your operating system, whether it be deploying patches to servers, desktops, laptops, etc., or even deploying and managing and maintaining network builds. This all becomes very, very important, and it ensures that you get consistency across your infrastructure as well. The next thing we look at goes to what I mentioned earlier, which is holistic management. Now, a self-service automated provisioning with a service catalog is of paramount importance to people these days. But if we look at where this takes us next, we got the ability to look at things like capacity planning, reporting, auditing, analysis of environment, which will actually proactively tell you how your environment is moving forwards, where you are with regards to disk usage, how your overall CPU and memory utilization is going. This is all important. It will constantly monitor and give you system alerts as well. And it can, we look at systems which can be linked into many of the more important, many other packages, including things like ServiceNow, etc. One of the other areas which is becoming very key to a lot of people these days as well is things like chargeback and showback. P&L within IT is something which a lot more people are talking around these days. When you've actually got to show how your department is operating, it's always great to be able to show back at a glance very quickly and simply how you can actually do this by department, by user, etc., so that you can show what department is using the most storage, what department is using the most memory and CPU use, so that you can actually show at a snapshot to the business your value as an IT organization. And of course, when it comes to cross-charging, showback starts becoming chargeback as well. So again, very, very important. Now, it's great if you're going to be doing a tool which is running everything on-prem, but how cool would it be as well if you had a solution which could actually look at your private cloud as well as a multitude of public cloud offers as well. Now, on this journey I was talking about a minute ago, one of the things we're seeing is that people are talking more and more around mixed environments within the data center. We've got our customers who've got VMware, we've got our customers who are big Microsoft estates, and they started using Hyper-V as well for virtualization. And we also got customers who are using things such as SAP HANA, who are moving over to Red Hat Enterprise Linux solution and virtualizing on Red Hat virtualization as well. Now, why run multiple virtualization solutions? It could be complex. Yes, but if you've got a proper management tool and are able to manage it simply, it becomes quite a straightforward offering. The net benefits, of course, as it says on the right, is lower cost virtualization. For example, if you're running Red Hat Enterprise Linux with SAP HANA, wouldn't it make sense to run your estate on virtualization based upon Red Hat? It gives you a 50% performance increase for a start, and that's a proven fact. It also gives you the ability to have much more choice and to remain a very open sort of data center with the ability to go in multiple directions as you move forwards. One of the key things we also talk about is the storage environment, and I'm going to quickly rush over this one, but software-defined storage is becoming a very, very big question when it comes to running cloud solutions. And we always think that anybody who's managing a multitude of environments, whether it be virtualized or cloud, that's public or private, if you're running software-defined storage as well, it makes a lot of sense to actually be able to manage your software-defined storage layer as well. And again, we have the ability to manage this through a single point of view as well. One of the big topics again, which comes up when many people are talking around IT these days, is containers and microservices. .NET in a container, SQL Server in a container, just running multiple microservices, even if it's DevOps, is becoming something which is very important. And it doesn't matter whether it's running on bare metal, whether it's running on a virtualized environment, or if it's running in the cloud. One of the key things is you want to have the ability to manage it and see it through a single console as well. Again, is something which Red Hat on this journey into the cloud has been very, very clear in our design process, is to deliver containers and microservice management as well. Cloud-enabled applications. So we're looking at this journey. We've started off with virtualization. We've got the ability to offer a multitude of software-defined solutions within our environments as well. And we're now doing the ability to deliver something around the private cloud. People want private cloud for many, many reasons. One of the big things people always say to me is, I want the ability to have Amazon or Microsoft Azure type capabilities in my data center. Okay, great. Why? Firstly, and most importantly, is the elasticity. If you've got the ability to expand your private cloud and your data center, as long as you've got the infrastructure investment already there, it's great. You've got the ability to have self-adapting resources, you've got large-scale workload capabilities, and as I said already, through self-adapting resources, you can add applications to auto-adapt as you're moving forwards as well. So it makes sense to bring a private cloud environment under a single console for management as well. Now, we're starting to look really at what a private cloud is going to look like in most people's data centers. We have probably a mixture of virtualization technologies, we've got a mixture probably of operating systems, and we're going to have a number of cloud-enabled applications which can be sitting either on-prem in a private cloud or could be sitting quite happily out in the public cloud. Now, the public cloud, of course, there are many, many flavors out there. I seem to come across two key vendors all the time. One of them is Amazon Web Services, who seems to have been around forever. We've got Microsoft Azure, who are a fantastic partner of Red Hat's, as well as a sort of a key vendor who we're involved in on a day-to-day basis. And then, of course, we also have the Google Cloud Engine as well. So those are the three main cloud providers. There are other cloud providers out there, many of them who are basing their solutions on things like OpenStack, and it'd be great if you got the ability to treat these as a tier 1 environment and automatically connect to those as part of a management solution. So from Red Hat's perspective, when it comes to managing and orchestrating, we think that those are the 3 key ones that we should be connected to, as well as OpenStack, and of course the key virtualization partners as well. So we think that those should all be included in any cloud management platform which is being deployed in the marketplace today. So let's take this another step. Let's try and put it into some boxes. We have private cloud, which will be, from our perspective, Red Hat OpenStack, and we'll have a number of traditional applications which would still be running within your data center on a variety of virtualization tools, whether it be ESXi from VMware, whether it be Microsoft Hyper-V, or Red Hat virtualization. All 3 flavors we will look at, and we will work with our customers to deliver seamlessly in a data center or a cloud environment with a single holistic management tool. OpenStack, whether it be Red Hat OpenStack on-prem or a Red Hat OpenStack public cloud delivery as well, again, that should all be linked into a single management interface, and we can work to deploy and deliver across that entire environment. Then we have the public cloud, which we will look at traditional and cloud-enabled applications running as a service in the public cloud, and we will work with the likes of Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure, and Google. Now, if you've got automation requirements, we believe that you should also be able to automate from a single point as well across all of those platforms, and that is something which is in our cloud journey as well. So, as we call it, a hybrid cloud or a modern open standard open source data center is becoming very much a key picture in what we think many customers are wishing to build these days. From a systems management perspective, Red Hat's systems management can work seamlessly across all of those environments. So if you're running any Red Hat subscriptions across any of those platforms, again, you can use our systems management to help manage that as well. And software-defined storage we touched on briefly earlier. So what does a Red Hat world look like? We have key products in our portfolio, all of which are available through Bytes to address all these environments. We have Red Hat Ansible Tower for automation. This additionally has the net benefits of having the Ansible engine, which gives you all of the playbooks, runbooks, etc., to be able to deploy across a multitude of operating systems, physical platforms, including networking. And networking automation is becoming a very hot topic these days. We have Red Hat CloudForms, which is one of the main reasons Penn invited me today. I just got the glare for the penny slip there, which gives us the ability, as it says across the top, all of the areas I spoke about earlier: discovery, capacity planning, reporting, auditing, compliance, so on and so forth. One of the most important ones these days is showback or chargeback. That's what everybody seems to want to talk about. If you're talking containers, we have Red Hat OpenShift containers, and again, this is in the portfolio available from Bytes. You can buy the containers through the Red Hat store, through your Red Hat partnership with Bytes, or you can get them through the Microsoft store through Microsoft Azure. And then, of course, the virtualization technologies. You're probably already investing in VMware. If not, you've probably already got an investment in Microsoft Hyper-V. Fantastic products, and we work to manage those seamlessly as well. A little bit of useless information. Red Hat CloudForms in its first iteration was designed from the ground up as a management console to manage VMware, and it won Best in VMworld Awards 2 years in succession for managing it. It was probably there before any other decent management console was about. I'm not going to talk about other vendors, but what I will say is that CloudForms has been designed from the ground up to manage every single environment that we address. Nothing has been acquired and bolted onto the side, so you get a single look and feel all the way through. And if anybody's interested in seeing CloudForms in action, we're more than happy to come out and meet with you and give you a demonstration. And if you want to do a proof of concept, we're happy to do a free proof of concept with you as well. So Moving on, I'm not going to talk about satellite because that really addresses just the Red Hat environment, but from a storage perspective, I mentioned earlier software-defined storage, and the key players these days is Ceph and Gluster. Ceph is a great add-on straight away into any OpenStack environment, and Gluster is superb storage solutions as well. So that's all I'm going to say about the Red Hat portfolio. What I'm now going to talk about briefly is why we're working with Microsoft and why Microsoft are working with us. So this slide I normally present with one of my colleagues from Microsoft. We are very, very joined up in our approach to talking to customers these days. And as it says there, we believe our customers have a choice when it comes to selecting their environments, whether it's operating systems, their databases, anything running mission critical systems, you have a choice. We're not going to force you down a certain route. However, the world's leading database is Microsoft SQL Server. The world's leading Linux OS platform is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It's two key reasons for Red Hat and Microsoft to come together before anything else. The leading cloud platform these days, everybody knows about AWS, but Microsoft Azure, according to the Magic Quadrant for Cloud Infrastructure, is very much going down the Microsoft Azure route now. What is interesting is that Microsoft have invested over $10 million in integrated support, which they don't do with anybody else. Microsoft historically have been this rather ring-fenced solution, which they don't invest elsewhere. They believe in open source, and they've invested in integrated support, and you actually will see environments where if you're running Red Hat solutions in the Microsoft Azure, you will have a need to make a support call, for example. You will go through to Microsoft in the normal way, and your call will be handed off to a Red Hat colleague who sits within their support center. You've got Red Hat and Microsoft guys sitting side by side. It's a long-term value investment, this one. So Microsoft really do believe in this, as do Red Hat. Bottom blue box, 62 compliance offerings, more than any other cloud provider. 90% of Fortune 500 companies use the Microsoft Cloud. 95% of Fortune 500 companies are actually investing in the Red Hat portfolio as well, because they run Red Hat on-premise. So it's an interesting number, that one. And there are currently 120,000 new Azure customer subscriptions per month for Red Hat technology. Some snippets from the press: InfoWorld, ZDNet, as they call it, CNET, .NET, and the Register. The Register one is the one I'm going to concentrate on, because Redmond top man Satya Nadella, Microsoft loves Linux. 10 years ago, his predecessor was Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer said Linux is a cancer. Satya is a very, very forward-thinking man, and he is investing heavily in the open source project within Microsoft, and the momentum is phenomenal. Now, why Red Hat and Microsoft Azure? So we have a strategic relationship supported by both senior leadership teams. Microsoft and Red Hat talk regularly about this, and we are coming together very, very strongly to deliver the solutions. We have an extensive UK enterprise sales organization which is here to support Bytes in their endeavors. So if you are interested in the Red Hat portfolio and you'd like a little bit of Red Hat sort of touch points, we are more than happy to support the Bytes efforts by introducing you to our UK enterprise organization. And that is not just sales guys, that includes our consultants as well, and our architects who can help you design solutions which will suit your environment. I've mentioned it already, it's an integrated support offering. That single point contact is fantastic. Other vendors, they will take first and second line support themselves. If you go through a Red Hat solution with Microsoft Azure, you know that you're going to get your support at a single, immediately through Red Hat. So anything you get through Bytes to take your subscriptions into the cloud, you're guaranteed you're going to get the same level of support that you would do if you were just buying them from Bytes and using them on-prem. We do many joint events as well. So if you're traveling around and going to any of the shows, you will probably have seen Red Hat either on stage with Microsoft doing the usual Q&As, or you'll have seen a Red Hat stand. I've been at 3 of them in the last year. I seem to be turning into a bit of a stand monkey, but it's one of those things. We have Microsoft at the summit. We also were represented at Microsoft Future Decoded, which was the event in Docklands just back in November last year, and we're doing many other events through 2018. In fact, if anybody's heading off to Birmingham today or tomorrow, you will find Red Hat at the Microsoft event in Birmingham as well. And Azure is growing fast. It's got a growing Red Hat presence. We are working very, very closely together to move forwards on this relationship, and we are going to be supporting Bytes in all their endeavors as well. So again, you know, it's something which we're very, very real about. So we have a call to action, a what next type slide. This is really challenges that you may be thinking about yourselves. You know, how are your users placing demands on you? Are they unrealistic? Are you looking at sort of how to respond quicker all the time? Are you looking at the public or private cloud solutions as part of your strategy? You know, how are you going to be moving forwards with that one? Are you struggling with storage solutions? I did say I'd gloss over software-defined storage, but the reality is that if you're moving into the cloud and you want to start looking at your storage options, it's probably not a bad idea to start thinking about how and what you can be deploying, and start looking at the partners who can help you deliver solutions which have got future-proof built into them. I keep on mentioning it. Usage by department. How do you sort of show back to users what you're doing? Do you need to charge back? It's important. Are you concerned about compliance? You know, that is the key sort of areas that people are asking about. Are you looking at data center transformation and optimization? Is it purely about cloud, or are you looking at virtualization technologies as well? Are you looking at SQL Server on Red Hat Enterprise Linux? Are you looking at SAP HANA? These are all areas where you can talk to Bytes and ask them for guidance and advice on, and if necessary, engage with us as well through your through our partnership with Bytes. The multi-cloud, I mentioned it briefly earlier, but the multi-cloud really is AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google. People aren't necessarily going to invest in one provider all the time. If you're looking at multiple opportunities and offerings, again, speak to us. We're more than happy to help you understand the minefield that lies out there. But generally, if Azure is the choice, speak to Pen. She's always here to be helpful and a guide, and her email address and her telephone number are on the slide there. So Pen, I'm going to hand over to you at this point, because I'm bored of listening to my voice, as I'm sure you are.
Thank you very much, Neil. I literally just want to cover a couple of points at the end. Say, if anything that Neil covered today was of interest, what Bytes can now offer you is we do a free of charge product demonstration, which is either by webinar or you can have a hands-on demonstration on site. We can also offer an on-site workshop, so we can review your individual pain points with managing hybrid cloud and help you build out a business case for CloudForms. We can support you with that. We also offer a longer-term review of your estate, which involves setting up some tools to run a 30 days kind of a proof of concept, where we'll present back to you some in-depth findings and any potential risks or vulnerabilities in your current setup. We can help you plan and future-proof them. Lastly, if you are considering taking your existing Red Hat or buying net new subscriptions for any public cloud, including Azure, please do speak to us first, because on average it will be 20 to 30% cheaper for you to buy it via Bytes as opposed to buying it via the marketplace. And I'll happily talk you through that entire process. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I don't think we have any on the webinar right now, so I will just leave you with my last slide, which will just again show you what my contact details are. And please do get in touch. Thank you.